Welcome to Simmo's Art Group, Session 4. Today we're going to try some watercolour painting. I found a really interesting, quirky sort of image. I'm going to have a go at painting it. Are you ready? Let's go.
As usual, we'll start off with the grid system. Hopefully you have the app by now, which makes life a lot easier. Subject matter might look a little bit peculiar. That's because it is peculiar. I decided to draw from an image which is a camel with, presumably, the camel's handler. I like the quirky stuff. Outlines only now, no fiddling. At this stage, I'm just concentrating on getting the lines in the right place relative to the boxes. Specs are a bit tricky because if you get one small one, one big one, it looks awful. You could say that's a detail then. Okay, that's allowed. I find when you're doing a watercolour, if you do the pencil lines fairly bold, it does ultimately benefit the drawing. Now we'll get the grid rubbed off and get the paints out. I've added a little snapshot of the paints that I'm using. From left to right, the colours are raw sienna, burnt sienna, alizarin crimson, cerulean blue, ultramarine blue and ivory black. I have each tray fairly wet, there's quite a lot of water in there. So when I do the wash, it is spreading out pretty quick. And I'm quite happy to let colours run into other colours to a degree. And I regularly mix colours together. For example, raw sienna mixed with alizarin gives you a nice sort of ruddy red colour for someone's face. And I like painting pretty loose. I'm not too interested in this tight, dry brushwork. Of course, everything has its place. Sometimes you need to use that. But I would say 90% of my drawing is wet into wet. And as a rule, I always work from light to dark. Start off with the light washes, add the darker washes. And for example, when you want to highlight a face, so do some dark areas around that face to make it pop out. I'm not sure what happened, but I lost a part of the video, in particular to the camel's mouth, and dark areas under his chin and around his cheek. But I refused to get the hump. Yep. Camels have quite chocolatey coloured eyes with the black pupil, and I left a little bit of white to reflect the sunlight. A little bit more work around the face, as I said before, to make it pop out a little bit. So I'm darkening those areas. When you're doing a pencil drawing, it's much more simple to get the tonality, the darks and the lights. So you have to be very careful with watercolours because you cannot remove it once you've committed. So now we are coming down to the details. The lady's eyes, for example, I've given her blue eyes, you can't really tell. But again, that black pupil with a little bit of white glinting. I started with a number 10 brush when I was basically slapping it on. Now I've gone down to a very, very fine brush for the detail work. We're not far away now. It's an open and shut case of making the jam jar bottom stand out a little bit more. Well, I thought it was finished, so at this point I signed it, dated it, and then went back to it. I must admit, I've never seen a camel smile. Of course, there's always a first time. Watercolour's quite a tricky medium to work with. With acrylic, you can paint over, but not with these. That's why when it works, you can feel quite proud. But I have thrown a few in the bin. And on to the next one. Okay, well that's it for this session. I think I should call it Simmo Speedy Art Group. They get faster and faster. Well, thanks for watching. It's very much appreciated. If you like what you see, please give me a like and subscribe. See you next time.